Hi, this video is about Japanese particles. I had several people asking about Japanese particles and what is actually their nature and how they are used. So today we are going to have a brief introduction to about 10 of them, which are the most common particles. There are about 60 different particles. We can discuss about them more in depth later. Okay, so the particles they are used to mark the function of the words in a phrase. This is also called a case, but let's keep that term for another video so it doesn't make things complicated. So for now, let's keep in mind that particles define the nature of each word in a sentence and their function. Japanese is actually not the only language that uses particles. Korean also uses several particles, and believe it or not, Latin also has a particle that is used in the language. They are not to be considered suffixes. They are not attachable to words, though sometimes they are written together with the words and pronounced together with the words. They are just continuation of the sentence. They are not to be attached permanently to the word. Okay. Particles on themselves, they don't have a meaning. They will just show a function, and together with all other words, they will acquire a meaning and a direction. But on themselves, they are not words. Okay, so let's start. Here I have some cheat sheets to help me keep focus and not waste time in the video. Okay, so the first particle is wa. Wa is actually written with a ha symbol, not the wa, but is pronounced wa. It comes as a topical marker. It will always follow the word that represents the main topic of the sentence. For example, if I say, "Watashi wa nihongo no gakusei desu." "Watashi wa nihongo no gakusei desu." I'm saying, related to me, I'm a student of Japanese. So me, will be the topic of the sentence, because everything that follows wa is related to watashi. Sometimes it may cause a little confusion if it is understood as the subject marker. Okay, it's not only the subject marker, it's a topic marker, but we are going to talk about this better in another video where we are going to separate wa and ga, which cause a lot of confusion. Okay, so the first particle is wa, and it's used as a topical marker. Okay, the second one is o. O is very common too, and though we pronounce o, it is written with wo. Okay, and it indicates the direct object. Okay, is the one that receives the action. For example, mizu o nomimasu, or gohan o tabemasu, meaning drinking the water. I drink the water, or I eat the rice. Mizu o nomimasu, gohan o tabemasu. Okay, so that is o. It's for the direct object. The third one is no. No determines the possessive when attached to a word. It can be used either in a pronoun or a noun. For example, if I say, "Watashi no tomodachi," it's my friend. If I say, "Tomodachi no inu," the dog of my friend, of the friend. So if I say, "Watashi no tomodachi no inu," is the dog of my friend. Okay. For example, the example I put down was, "Watashi no nihongo no sensei," is my Japanese professor, meaning my professor of Japanese or my teacher of Japanese. The next particle is mo. Mo, it gives a complementary idea. For example, if you're talking to somebody and the person say, 私は日本語の学生です。私は日本語の学生です。I'm a student of Japanese. Then, in case you're a student of Japanese too, right? So you say, 私も日本語の学生です。So the first one would be 私は日本語の学生です. And a complementary one, meaning you are the same at the same level or the same status as the other person, you'd say 私も日本語の学生です. And mo would take the exact place of wa. Okay, the next one is to. To is it has the same function as and in English. Okay, so if I say you and I would say あなたと私 or 私とあなた watashi to anata, me and you. Okay? Or for example with nouns. Neko to inu, the cat and dog, or the cat and the dog. Okay? This can also be used for a list. For example, if you say it gotta be a limited list. Okay, for example, if I'm saying that in this room I have table, chairs, and books, I would say teburu to isu to hon. That's it. Close. And then there's another particle that will give a list that is endless. Okay. The next particle is ne. I'm pretty sure that you've heard ne before. It gives you make a statement and then you put ne at the end to turn into a question. For example, in English this is called a tag question. For example, in English you say, you are a student, aren't you? So you have a statement, you are a student. And then you say, aren't you? That's called a tag question. That gives the question. That will be the same thing in Japanese. For example, これ言語は難しいですね。これ言語は難しいですね。This language is difficult, isn't it? So you state and then you make a question, right? This is very common between Japanese and actually some other words we use it in colloquial. For example, in Portuguese we use it sometimes in the same meaning, but I don't know if it was borrowed from Japanese or not. Okay, the next particle is e. Though you pronounce e, you write with he, the symbol for he. Okay, and it indicates the place of direction, but it is slightly different from ni. Ni is the direction where your movement or your action is being towards, and e is more like where it is happening. For example, if you say Nihon e kimasu, to come to Japan. Nihon e kimasu, to come to Japan. So if it's basically like you are in Japan and you're saying coming into Japan. Okay. On the other hand, ni is more like a direction of movement. So if you say Nihon ni ikimasu, go to Japan. So the action of going is towards Japan. So there's some ambiguity between e and ni that will be explained later. And in this case, our next particle would be ni, which I already explained. So e, place of direction. So if you're in a place and the movement is being towards that, okay? And ni is the direction of movement, or where the action is being towards. Like You're not there yet. You're going towards it. The next particle is the complementary to to. This is ya. It is also equivalent to and, but in this case in an infinite list. For example, you say, 私の友達は猫や犬や馬や鳥をあります。So what you're saying is, my friend has dogs and cats and horses and birds and so forth. So the list has a continuation. It will go on. So to is a limited list and ya is an endless list. There are other rules too. For all these particles that I'm explaining right now, there are other rules. Those that I'm explaining here are the most common, the most used for those particles. Okay, I'm not saying this is set on stone. I'll come with more explanations later, and as questions come up. And our last particle is de. It represents in or by the means of. For example, if you say 日本語で手紙を書いています. I'm writing a letter in Japanese. So you're using Japanese to write that letter. You're not using English, you're using Japanese. So 日本語で手紙を書いています. So you're writing the letter in Japanese. Japanese is the means by which you're writing the letter. You could also say 鉛筆で手紙を書いています because 鉛筆 is a pen, a pencil. So you're saying I'm writing the letter with a pencil. Okay, so there are slightly variations on the meaning of those things. Okay, another usage of de is things that you're using to move. For example, 車で行きましょう. 車で行きましょう. Let's go by car. Okay, so you're going to use the car to go somewhere. So that's the means by, okay, or by the means of a car you're getting there. So there are different meanings. Like I was explaining, all these particles have different meanings. I'm just giving the most common as an introduction for the particles at this point. Okay, so I hope you could get an introduction to particles. If something wasn't clear, or if you have any questions, put a comment and I'll explain more in depth. It seems like there's a lot of people that are interested in Japanese lately, and so surely questions will come up. And if you have any comments or anything that you think was kind of not very well explained, that you want more information, just leave a comment or send your video or anything you want, and I'll get back to you. Okay? See you guys next time.